Hello everyone and welcome back to more Players Cup 4 match analyses. Today we're here for round 7 and at this point we're sitting at 4-2, so almost pulled it all the way back to something at least a little bit more respectable in my opinion for what the team is capable of doing, because I know the team is good. But we're here, round 7. We've got Rick, and Rick's got this Colossal team now. So this is where things get interesting. So at first glance I assumed it was the Marco Colossal, which would have the Adamant Dragapult. So hence the lead here where I went Dragapult to Moongus, right? So basically the concept is if they went Dragapult and they were the Adamant Dragapult, the Dragapult was dead. So they wouldn't be able to get the Surf off. And if they went the Urshifu mode, I had the Rage Powder, so they also wouldn't be able to get the Steam Engine off either way. So basically either way, this way just shuts down the lead. It's not my standard Coal answer. More often than not, it is that Amoonguss Landorus as my standard Coal. But, you know, I figured, like I said, against Marco's team here, assuming it is that Adamant Dragapult, I mean, I literally kill it. I kill that thing turn 1, or I can just Rage Powder the Aqua Jet. Basically, long story short, Steam Engine should never be going off. And based on that, it's very, very straightforward to me where, like, you know what I mean? Just kind of go with this, stop Steam Engine game 1, and then if game 2, if he wants to try and adapt to something, he'd probably go with like a little bit of a different Pult mode. But the thing is, very similar to round 3, right? Where I played Colin, and Colin just had the faster Dragapult. The faster Dragapult has all the luxury in the world, and that is huge. When you have the faster Dragapult, and you know you have the faster Dragapult, it is phenomenal. Like, you have so much more leeway, and so much more, I don't know, I guess versatility in what you want to do, rather than the other way around. But my opponent opting to actually not go for the Colossal here at all, and going with the Urshifu Dragapult. So, here I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is amazing, you know? I technically don't even need to Rage Powder. I'm gonna Rage Powder because it is the safer play, because I still don't know if it's like a straight up paste of the Marco Coal team, or if, you know, he maybe mixed it up at all, right? Because he could have mixed it up, he might be fast Dragapult, you don't know, right? You just don't know. Maybe he's Sash Dragapult, right? Oh, actually, I did know it was Life Orb, but I do know for sure it's not Sash, but you know what I mean. Point still stands, right? They could have changed the IVs, they could have changed some EVs, and maybe they go Adamant, right? Change a few natures, maybe they go Jolly. Either way, I still Rage Powder to be safe, and I Phantasm go right into that Dragapult. Basically, if I can take that thing down, we're in a phenomenal spot. Simple as that. And it's one of those things where you have to target, you kind of have to look at Amoonguss and go, I'm going to get slept. And you guys, I'm sure, are sick and tired of me saying this, where Amoonguss kind of puts pressure on without actually putting pressure on, right? Like, normally, you know, they'd probably try to, like, you know, Phantom Force with the Dragapult, especially if they're faster, which, by the way, they did switch this to Jolly, whether that was their change or whatever paste version they had. Maybe they made this team on their own, I don't know, but they are Jolly Dragapult, so a little bit unfortunate on my end, because very happy I Rage Powdered, but still kind of crazy, though, that I could have just lost turn 1 had I not been thinking about that. But anyways, like I said, it's still forced. Amoonguss here, they're looking at Amoonguss, right? They can't make the play of, you know, just switching in and out, right? Or going for the Phantom Force and risking me sporing into that Urshifu, you know? They have to cover their bases here. So, we're actually going to go see the Amoonguss Rage Powder. No Protects, not surprising at all. I'd imagine just the Phantom Force surging. Just probably wants to pick something off here. And there we go, we get the Phantasm, which is what I meant to say. Goes into that Amoonguss, takes me all the way down to 44, which is just a ridiculous amount of damage when you look at it. Like, it is a ridiculous amount of damage. There's the Life Orb chip, which is fine. But my Phantasm coming out now, and now the Dragapult's dead. See, the big concern now is Urshifu takes down my Amoonguss. That crit didn't matter, that Dragapult was dead. But Urshifu takes down my Amoonguss, I Rage Powdered, and obviously this Urshifu's attacking, so it takes down my Amoonguss, and I'm expecting a Colossal to come in the back, you know? I would personally expect Colossal switching in, and I'm in a lot of trouble, because then they Aqua Jet, they get the Colossal off. I guess the good news is they'd Aqua Jet down to like 2 HP because they can't max. But so I guess if they're maxing Pult, maybe there wasn't the Colossal. Looking back at it, I don't know. I was still in my back of my head. I was still kind of covering for the Colossal mode a little bit, so I had to go Urshifu. Basically saying if they go Colossal, we can just double Aqua Jet. Like, I'll Aqua Jet, they Aqua Jet, their Coal's dead, right? And I think I did end up locking in Urshifu here. Yeah. I wanted to go Aleki, but I was, like I said, I was still a little bit concerned about that random late game Colossal, because, like, it really is probably one of the dumber things, especially right after maxing a Dragapult turn 1, for it to happen, so I don't expect it to happen, but like I didn't want to lose to it. Right? Bringing in Urshifu gives me an option if they do have it, which would be odd, but it gives me the options to safer play. So now I'm expecting Rillaboom to protect here, so I'm going to go after either protect or fake out. I believe I went after Urshifu here with an Airstream. Yeah, and I think I just detected. Yeah, so basically what I was going at here is if they double Urshifu, right, I'd expect a fake out and maybe some sort of close combat into this Urshifu. But if they go for that, I mean, yeah, sure, they break my sash, then I'm in grassy glide range. But I have the Pult advantage right now. Like, Pult is very content to just kind of sit here and take names, take lives, right? Like, Urshifu will take it down to sash immediately, and then the next turn, right, I'll be in grassy glide range, but I can just Aqua Jet the Ursh to kill the Ursh anyways. And then Pult takes the Airstream, kills the Rillaboom. Yeah, I lose Ursh, but then I'm up 2-1. I have Pult the Lucky versus whatever they have in the back. And personally, to me, that's enough. Okay, so we're going to go for the detect here, and the question is, what does this Urshifu go for on their end? We're going to see the fake out. Oh, never mind, we see the protect, so I could have just attacked. Looking back at this, I could have just attacked, but it is what it is. We're going to get the big old Airstream out here. I wasn't going into that protect. I knew protect was an option. There was literally no reason for me to risk that somehow going into the protect, leaving the sash on this Urshifu. It was just not the right play. Right? Breaking the sash on Urshifu was more beneficial. Even had the Urshifu protected here, it wouldn't have really been terrible. And their Urshifu correctly going for that Surging Strikes, which is fair. Very smart, actually, probably, because now they don't lose defense, right? And it's one of the things, I guess losing defense wouldn't matter, but if they were really expecting me to go into Rillaboom, it would make sense why they wouldn't want to lose defense. So, perfectly respectable play from my opponent right there. Now it's one of those odd plays, right? I have to Aqua Jet into the Urshifu. The question is, are they going to give it to me? I think I go for it regardless. Like, I Aqua Jet the Urshifu and I just Airstream the Rillaboom every day of the week here. There's not much really else to it, right? So basically this covers my options, right? Urshifu can't get an attack off, and if the only attack Ursh is going to get off is an Aqua Jet. If they Aqua Jet, it's not a threat to either of us. The Rillaboom may Grassy Glide here, but my Aqua Jet is going to be faster than this Rillaboom. So Aqua Jet will go first, still kill that Ursh slot, and Rillaboom's going to go down to the Airstream, and at that point we're in a solid spot. There's really not much else that really can happen. Right? And if I do get both knockouts here, we're phenomenal, and they can't switch both slots, right? So they either switch the Urshifu into something to eat the Aqua Jet, or they switch the Rillaboom into something to eat the Airstream, but the problem with that is, then they're not taking knockouts that way. And then, yeah, sure, okay, let's say they left Rillaboom in, would have swapped the other one, which would have been a perfectly fine play, right? If they had to swap the Instant in for the Urshifu, that would have been fine, right? But then they lose Rillaboom, I lose Urshifu, and then I still have Alecki, and I think Alecki still wins me that game. But Aqua Jet is still enough into that Urshifu right there. Gonna pick up that knockout right there, which is perfect for me. And we're gonna get a big old Airstream up. Not like the best amount of damage in the world, but still 50% into instant is really, really nice. So it's one of those things now where they kind of have to bring in Rillaboom, and their terrain is gonna go away eventually. So I can either protect, I think I protect and then switch into Alecki. And then I bring Urshifu back in, and then once their terrain is gone, Urshifu basically wins this game by itself. I believe that's how I ended up playing this game, or similar concept to it. I should be checking the grass turns, I'm sure. If I don't check the grass turns, I'm literally throwing this game away. But my head just watching this game back, there's either 2 or 3, but I haven't been paying too much attention to it. I think there's 2, I think there's 3. Ryan, check the grass turns, please. There we go, I did check, see, I checked the grass turns, I'm a smart player. Okay, and there is 3 turns left, so we're gonna get the, I think I decided to Phantom Force the Rillaboom slot. Just keep myself off the field, and I think I protected. Yeah. It's just the right play, right? There's not a lot. They can't fake out Dragapult, so this is a null turn. They don't have anything to set up. You know, they just kind of chill. Get my Phantom Force off, and they don't really have a way to hit me. They actually go for the Wood Hammer, which is interesting, but they double Dragapult, so giving me an option there, which is kind of odd. I wasn't really expecting a double into Pult at all. I mean, I guess it's fair because they predict the protect from Urshifu, which is very smart. But the Phantom Force, like I said, covered that option entirely. And now I have to switch out. I'm still confident they probably go after Dragapult, right? They take the kill they can guarantee to get, right? Urshifu could go for the double protect. Urshifu could switch out. They don't know what my last mod is yet. So because of that, they're going to take the kill they know they can get on the Dragapult. Dragapult will go down, that is what it is. And even if they target the Alecki and Alecki goes down, then they leave Dragapult on the field. Urshifu comes back in and we're good. Once I reset Urshifu outside of grass, this game is very much so over. Because once I chip the Rillaboom, this it's in close combat range. That's all there is to it. So Urshi's gonna come on back out right now. Alecki's coming in. Dragapult gonna go for that Phantom Force into the Rillaboom. That definitely does enough. That's definitely into close combat range, especially that much damage. I wasn't expecting that. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that's probably it's probably not a very defensive Rillaboom, but that Wood Hammer still actually doesn't take me out, which is funny. Flare Blitz obviously at this point not gonna kill Alecki, but they do double that into that Dragapult, and Pult's gonna go down there, which I'm okay with. Pult did its job, right? Pult brought Usher to Sash. Pult killed their Pult, which was the big part, and then Pult also just Phantom Force that Boomer and Airstream the instant for 50. So gonna go ahead and say Pult did enough. Urshi's gonna come on in now. Now this game's not over per se, right? We double protect here, obviously. That's the given. Right? And it's just a simple double protect with the last turn of terrain. And that's what you do, right? Like, I'm just stalling out terrain. There's no real analysis here to really be done other than I'm stalling out this monkey's terrain. That's it. That's it. That's the tweet. No, but in all honesty, so looking at this endgame right now, right? So next turn I have the free kill into Incineroar with a Surging Strikes. And that kills that. And then the thing is, 2 Thunderbolts will actually be enough into Rillaboom, if not 1. It's a very offensive Rillaboom by the looks of things. So I'd imagine that one or 2 Thunderbolts is guaranteed. 2 is guaranteed, 1 is probably very likely. So I double protect, I stall out the terrain. And then I Surging Strikes the instant, get rid of that. Thunderbolt the Rillaboom. Actually, does that cover that? Yeah, because terrain's gone. Yeah, it does. I'm fool. I forgot what I said 3 seconds ago. But terrain is gone. Urshifu will Surging Strikes the Incineroar, and Thunderbolt would obviously go into that monkey, or at least I think should go into the monkey. Although I guess I just CC the monkey, right? CCing the monkey is a safer play because the monkey can actually kill things. The Incineroar cannot break the Urshifu, so I might as well CC the monkey and just have Urshifu versus Incin endgame. Right? So I think I actually Thunderbolt Incin and CC the monkey, and if I don't do that, that is still the correct play. Should be a CC into the monkey and a Thunderbolt into the Incin. So ignore what I was saying earlier. That is the correct play. But this is why you watch games back like this, right? Like, when I find when I play too fast or I analyze too fast, I miss things, right? Like, I'm sure clicking Surging Strikes into the Incineroar and 2 Thunderbolts would still pick up the Rillaboom and I'd probably still win the game. But this is just 100% the safer play. Why risk it? Like, there's literally no reason to risk that. Right? This game's over. I'm pretty sure my opponent may be either playing for the timer that I don't think is anywhere near close to happening, or some sort of maybe disconnect on my end and have the 2-2 mons, which is perfectly fine. I'm not going to be against that. Like, the timer 100% is legit. The timer thing's a bit cheeky. I'm not sure. I doubt that. I'm not going to suggest that at all. I'm just saying it just seems odd. I'd imagine you're just going for timer, seeing if maybe they can get to timer somehow. That would be my thought process. I really doubt that they'd be trying to just wait to see if I DC, and if I DC, then maybe they can snag a win. Like, I really doubt that would be the case. So, not even they get the burn. So that is now 3 Flare Blitzes that have burned me in this tournament. Just saying. Just gonna throw that out there for the next time I click Flare Blitz and don't get a burn. Just gonna put that out there. But it is what it is. We're gonna take game 1 on Rick there. So now it's about moving into game 2. And moving into game 2, it's one of those things where, okay, they went with, like, I don't know, the way I look at Cole teams is they either bring Cole or they bring something that answers the answers to Cole. They brought what they thought answered the Cole answer. So in my opinion, now they're going to go back to Cole because that didn't work out for them, right? And if they can go Cole and just bring their Dragapult Colossal, we're good. In my opinion, that's what I expect. Dragapult Colossal. And because I'm expecting that, and I know that now this Dragapult is actually faster, I go back and I switch over to Landorus here. That's the call I made. I'm up a game, right? So if nothing else and I do lose this game, I at least put the Landorus Seed of Doubt in their head now, right? They know I'm not afraid to bring Landorus to this matchup. Right? Worst case scenario, I lose this match, I go into game 3, and game 3 I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, now they have to consider all of my options, you know? They have to know that I'm not afraid to bring Lando, right? Because if I bring Lando into this and they don't bring, like if I bring Lando into the Cole mode, I'm probably going to have a good chance at winning. If I don't bring Lando into the Cole mode, and I bring Lando into a different mode, well then, chances are I might take the L, but I'd see how that scenario plays out, right? And I can make the adaptation for game 3, you know? That's to me how I look at that, right? So now I go into game 2 here. If I win, phenomenal, I win, and we advance to 5-2 and move on. If I lose, they know. They have to consider then, okay, do I go back to the Colossal mode now? Because if they don't bring Colossal game 2, which is probably the only way I actually lose, like, I think it's going to be very tough for me to lose this game if they bring Colossal game 2 and I bring Lando. If they don't bring Colossal, I have the concept to say, okay, I know how that plays out now. What are they going to do about it? Right? Or they now know how it plays out when they have that. Would they actually go back to Colossal in game 3? Normally against Colossal teams, I assume the rule is in game 3 you bring Cole. Game 3 you bring Cole. That, to me, is just the rule. I don't play Colossal. I don't use Colossal. I don't think I've actually played more than 3 sets with Colossal. And I don't even think those are sets. Those actually might be 3 games of practice with Colossal. Like, I don't play Cole. But either way, we're here for game 2, and I do get that Cole Dragapult lead, which is exactly what I wanted. So here's one of those things where I actually just clicked Spore. I was, quote-unquote, somewhat confident that this Cole wasn't staying there. You know, my opponent was smart enough game 1 to realize I had Cole answers. And in my opinion, they're not going to leave Cole. You know, I feel like they might try to max this Dragapult right now and switch out this Colossal. And if they do that, Amoonguss pressure crumbles them, you know? And that's the way I wanted this to go. Now, I don't actually remember how this went, but that was the concept, right? So, I basically forced their hand. If they Surf and max Cole, and they hit Landorus, I mean Landorus lives and kills their max, which is perfect. Right? And then I'd get the Spore off as well. But if they Surf max Cole and hit the Amoonguss, okay, I lose that, but I kill the max Cole. Once again, it either ends in their Dynamax dying, or them playing passive and being Spored. And in one of those cases, both. Right? There is technically a bad play there that could come out of that, like a bad outcome. But thankfully it's not going to happen. They're actually going to max this Dragapult right now. So right now I'm very, very happy that I have clicked Spore. This Dragapult's going to bed, which is, I think, phenomenal. I don't think you could have actually asked for a better turn. The problem is, I think they might be clicking Wormwood. Which, I mean, is what it is, but I'm still maxing Lando, and I think we're still in a decent spot. The big thing is, once again, it's after turn 1, and I've kind of hindered their Dynamax, you know? They either have to wake up, they either have to get a quick wake up, or their max is just completely useless now. They're going to get the 1 attack off. Maybe 2, if they decide to wake up quickly. But with that, like, I don't think they respected the Amoonguss part here very much. Right? I respect the max Dragapult, right? Because you realize Colossal's in a terrible spot. Perfectly respectable. Phantasm goes into that Amoonguss, does 1,000,000%, did a lot more than it did the last time. Well, 10 more hit points, but still. That's still a lot more. Anyways, they're going to get the Life Orb chip damage there. We're going to get a big old Max Quake. I don't expect big damage here at all. Rillaboom's a great switch in. This is what you make the Rillaboom switch in for. That actually might be a critical hit. Nope. Okay. So no critical hit. We just did that much to Rillaboom. But still, like I said, the important part is this Spore. This Dragapult is now asleep. It cannot wake up. It cannot click Wormwood into me. And now at this point, my opponent is forced to start cycling. Right? I have Airstreams into Rillaboom. They don't want Rillaboom to take that. I've killed off their max. They can stall off mine, but it won't even matter if they do, because I've stalled out theirs technically. So I go for the Airstream here. I hit the Rillaboom, and I believe I switch on out into Ursh. Yeah. So the concept here is get my Ursh a speed boost, and once my Ursh starts going faster than his Dragapult, it's going to start putting pressure on, right? And in the meantime, if I can kill the Rillaboom, then Urshif will probably just win this game, in all honesty. Also, fun fact is my Dragapult, which is really probably dumb, to be honest. I'm going to be completely honest here. But my Dragapult and my Landorus, if my Landorus were to be at +1, it would actually speed time my Dragapult. Interestingly enough. So as dumb as that sounds, and I know it probably is dumb, but it actually kind of pays off a little bit of how do I want to say this? A little bit of a payback for having that, right? So basically, I know if my Dragapult gets outsped, I know that my Landorus is not outpacing anything at +1. Right? So basically, I saw this Dragapult was faster than my Dragapult in game 1. I know when I get to +1 with my Landorus, I'm still going to remain slower than this Dragapult. That's kind of the one perk to that. That wasn't actually part of the plan. I just completely didn't even realize that my Dragapult and my Landorus speed type. I do get the crit there on the Colossal, which is nice, but I mean, like, it's dead to the Urshifu anyways next turn. You know, I'm just going to click CC into it. Covers the Rillaboom switching as well, right? Covers the Rillaboom switch, covers the Instant switch, covers the, there is no other switch. So, basically that's the right plan. I do decide to CC. And now I just start Airstreaming again into the Dragapult just to make sure I'm outpacing with Lando. And are they going to switch? Are they going to stay asleep? Are they going to Wormwind? The thing is, this Dragapult is still faster right now, so they could get an Airstream up here. No doubt in my mind. But if they go for that Airstream, I still outspeed Colossal, and it's still gone. So, not saying this game is over, but I am saying it was a very good starting point for me. Yeah, we're going to get the CC. Urshifu is actually going to be faster than that Dragapult, which is what I forgot about to mention there. I completely forgot that I would actually just be faster than that Pult. But that Coal is going to go down, and now that's a huge Pokemon, a huge key piece gone. And when the Coal goes down, you know, you kind of celebrate in the streets, you know? It's like your team just won, like, the Euro Cup or something, you know? You start celebrating, yes, no more Coal, you know? Because it's just one of those pieces that's so versatile and can get going real quick. So happy that's gone. Of course, it wasn't the Dynamax threat that it normally is, but it is gone. And that's still very, it's still very, very nice. So Dragapult thankfully remaining asleep at this point, and I think that second turn of sleep kind of just all but sealed the deal, you know? I do have to switch Lando though, which is a little frustrating, because I'm pretty confident that a Grassy Glide will pick me off, because I'm -1 defense, right? So it's one of those things where if they bring in Rillaboom, I think Protect would be the right play, but I don't actually remember what they bring in here, so I'll wait up on the analysis until I see what they bring in. But yeah. So Rillaboom comes in, and now it's one of those things where one does the close combat kill from this range. It's going to probably be fairly close. 2, does Lando die to the Grassy Glide, which I'm pretty confident is a yes, which is why I'm going to go immediately and try to switch into a Amoonguss here. Yeah, I'm going to switch into a Amoonguss, and I think I just Protect to cover for some sort of fake out option. But let's see what my opponent decides to go for. I'm pretty sure because my Urshifu is faster than the Dragapult, I can get away with this. If Urshifu would have still been slower than Pult, then they Phantom Force, and then next turn they would have had a chance to Grassy Glide and Phantom Force I guess the bear, the Urshifu here, if I can remember a Pokemon's name for once, we'd be good. So, thankfully I'm still faster, so if they even try to go for some sort of play similar to that, we're fine. Amoonguss does come in, actually has a good chunk more HP than it did before, yo. Regenerator is broken. Regenerator is actually broken. Rillaboom does go Grassy Glide, does connect straight into Amoonguss. The Protect was basically just to cover the fake out, just in case I didn't want to lose my Sash that way. But thankfully, Dragapult gonna get the very fortunate 3-turn sleep for me, which is massive here. No doubt in my mind that is massive for this game's outcome. No doubt in my mind there. And now not only do I keep Amoonguss on the field, they have to target into me if they want to kill me. So what I do is I close combat Sludge Bomb, and basically that should pick up this Rillaboom. If Rillaboom doesn't die to the close combat, it will die to the Sludge Bomb. And it's just one of the things, if they switch out, I'm pretty sure Instant also still dies to the Sludge Bomb combination, but they actually are going to switch out this Rillaboom. Rillaboom does get pivoted out. It actually is Urshifu coming in, so they decided not to bring Incineroar this game. Instead, they brought Colossal. So close combat goes out into that Urshifu, and the question is Sludge Bomb enough? Because if Sludge Bomb takes this out, there's really nothing else to say other than the fact that this game's pretty much over. But Dragapult's going to Phantom Force. My opponent doing a very good job of resetting his grassy terrain turns, which I think is very, very smart. Urshifu is going to go down, which is fine. Nothing more I can do there. And the grass is going to wear off here as well, which is a little unfortunate, but it's perfectly fine. Because they're bringing the grass back in, and that's 5 more turns of grass for them. So very smart grass management, I guess you could call it that. But Rillaboom's coming back in right now. So the thing is now, the issue is now, I should say, that this Urshifu actually outpaces this Dragapult. As good as that is, like, yeah, that's great and all, but It's not the greatest. I'm going to spore the Dragapult, basically, and I think I close combat. I should close combat, lock that. Yeah, okay. So, basically, this covers the fact that if they don't Grassy Glider, if they don't Fake Out, right, Rillaboom goes down. Well, Rillaboom goes down pretty low, right? And they basically have to double my Amoonguss here. As you see, that Phantom Force go into Amoonguss actually does pick up the knockout, which is what it is, and I'm okay with that. And we're going to see what this Rillaboom wants to do. This Rillaboom's actually going to Wood Hammer. I don't agree with this. I think Grassy Glide was the better play, because now you lose your Rillaboom. If you had Grassy Glide, I mean, you take out, right? Like, I don't know if I agree with that. You still bring me to Sash either way, and then you don't die, right? And now this turn I'd have problems, right? Like this turn I would have a lot of problems because I don't have Fake Out Pressure. I have Lando in the back. I think Lando alone wins me this endgame, but I bring in a Lucky. I have Urshifu, and I mean, at this point, just Thunderbolts, Surging Strikes just wins me the game. Still kind of odd though. I feel like my opponent could have gotten through that last turn while still having that Rillaboom, which would have definitely made for an odd position here. Because, well, I would have had to bring in Lando most likely, and then what I would have done is just started double attacking, right? Rillaboom would have still been pretty low. So Rock Slide would have been enough to pick it off, right? So I go Rock Slide and probably Surging. I wonder if it would have been an Aqua Jet range. I doubt it. It didn't look like it was an Aqua Jet range, especially after Grass. But I'd probably go Surging Strike, Rock Slide into the Dragapult and, you know, just try to pick up pieces. But that game is definitely not over. Like, they did such a good job of preserving grass and making sure they had the most amount of grass turns for the end. And then they just kind of threw their Rillaboom away. I don't know if I agree with that. But either way, I mean, we're going to take it because, you know, that's what you do. You just kind of, you accept that W and you move on. But it seemed like an odd play in my opinion. But either way, Dragapult here. Going to get chipped down, damaged. Dragapult, I believe, goes for the... Actually, Regieleki is faster. I forgot about that part. I always forget Regieleki is that fast. Like, I know it's super, super fast, but normally after Dragapult had its turn to Dynamax, I've expected to have clicked Air Scream at least once. So, I don't know. But we are going to take the big 2-0 there over Rick, which is huge. So, now it's one of those things where it's starting to become obtainable, you know? Like, attainable, you know? Like, I was sitting there, and I'm like, I was 1-2. And I am going to pause before it loops, guys, but I was 1-2, and I don't want to say I was defeated, but I was definitely thinking to myself, yeah, this is a long shot now. You know, I'm gonna toss PC4 like very early, and it's gonna suck. Thankfully, though, you know what, I had a good run. Now I'm back to 5-2, and now at 5-2, it's crazy because anything can happen. You know, you got to steal one more game, and then if you win that game, all of a sudden you're playing basically a win-in. And when you play a win-in, anything can happen. It's the game of Pokemon, right? If I get to the win, it doesn't matter what the journey was to get to that point. All that matters is that one game. So 2 more rounds after this, which is going to be really, really good. Well, hopefully 2 more rounds, I should say, if we can get to that. But with that, guys, that's going to be it for this one. So feel free to leave a like. It does help me out quite a bit, along with the subscription. If you guys don't feel, if you don't want to miss out on more content, feel free to subscribe if you like. With that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for round 8 of Players Cup 4.